Good afternoon and welcome to the Duluth School District October Business Meeting. And before we get started today, I just want to send out our wholehearted support and fandom for our boys soccer team from Denfeld who are down in their first game for state, and for our girls soccer team from East who are also playing for state. So we look forward to watching both those teams be very successful in their representation of Duluth. So go Hounds and go Hunters. Moving on, I will ask the clerk to do roll call.
Member Banks.
Here.
Chair Durek Eater.
Here.
Member Loeffler Kemp.
Here.
Member Lofald.
Here.
I am Member Mikesell. I am here. Member Sadowski.
Here.
Member Williams. Here. Superintendent Magus.
Here.
Assistant Superintendent Bonds.
Present.
Deputy Clerk Zunich.
Present.
Board Secretary Paquette. Here. And our student representatives, Taylor, Garnes, and Dean are excused. One is now at the state tournaments, cheering on the boys soccer team, and the other is at rehearsal for a fall play, which we'll hear about in her report. And roll call is complete. That's what I was going to do Friday.
Now, if you're able or willing, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we move on and look for approval for this evening's agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Member Lofald has moved for the approval of the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Member Williams has seconded it. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda has been approved. We now move on for this month's school and community recognition, and we'll turn it over to Assistant Superintendent Bonds.
Thank you. Good evening, board and community. Tonight, it is my distinct pleasure to recognize one of our exceptional educators, Allison Wood, a science teacher at Denfeld High School. We are here to celebrate her remarkable accomplishment of being awarded a 2025-2026 Fulbright Distinguished Award in Teaching Research Fellowship. This is an incredibly competitive and prestigious award sponsored by the U.S. Department of State. Allison is one of only 14 K-12 educators to be selected for this honor. She will conduct her research in Greece, starting this February of 26 until June of 26. Her research project will focus on how schools in Athens and throughout the country incorporate citizen science, which she will share what that means later, and outdoor data collection into their curriculum. When she returns, Allison plans to share her knowledge by providing professional development sessions to teachers here in Duluth. Her commitment ensures that this international exchange experience will directly benefit our teachers, our students, and the entire district. We are, and I am, immensely proud of Allison for receiving such an esteemed award. Her success brings honor to Denfeld High School and to our entire community. Please join me in congratulating Allison Wood. She is a true example of one of our world-class educators right here in Duluth. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And I would like to add, I will also add that when I had the privilege of serving and being recognized as the assistant superintendent for Duluth, Allison was the first person to reach out to me via email and invite me on a walk with her dog named Willow.
Yep.
So, and I took up on that offer, so I remember that fondly because we actually did that.
Did I drive you to Chester?
It was Chester.
Yeah, okay.
We did.
Yep, uphill, downhill.
Yeah. So congratulations.
Uphill, yeah.
And I'll let you tell us
Yeah.
about the research and the experience.
Yeah.
Thank you all. I'm super excited. I will be at some point figuring out, maybe with the help of Adele, how to share things while I'm there, because I need to figure out a way to make it easy for people to put it somewhere where kids can get at. And my hope is that then the questions can come from kids. You know, what does the grocery store look like? What does a classroom look like? So I'm really excited. It was a very delayed process. This all started last winter. The applications were due in January, and we were supposed to find out in June. And given the budget of our federal government, we had no clue until right before school started. And so it has been a fast and furious entry into this whole process. I think I'm still digesting the fact that it's real and that I get to go. Normally it's about 30 or 40 people that do this program, and it's down to 14 this year. And so that's also settling in, like, wow, they actually like my idea, and I get to go and do this. And so the idea, citizen science is the idea. If anyone has the Merlin app or the iNaturalist app, if you're the dorky people in the room that do those things, which is not dorky anymore, it's quite cool, is to get out there and get students, adults, whoever out watching the natural world. And then if you are recording it, which not everything has to become real by putting it on the web, but in the world of data collection, if you can put things out there, then other people can verify it, watch it. And the hopes is that then we can be more conscious of anything, whether it's climate change data, whether it's changes to trees and changes to animals, changes to water temperature. And Europe has a whole set of citizen science platforms where people go out and collect data and put it onto their platforms, and then scientists anywhere can look at it. So we have iNaturalist, it's pretty strong here. There's a kid version called Nature's Nook or Nature's Notebook. And then they are using other ones there. And my hope is that there's too much connected between the world now. I feel like it'd be really cool if we could get schools on both sides to start using shared platforms. So my hope is that we can get classrooms at the same time there and here doing some sort of experience. So far, I'm working with some people down at the main U, and they are really excited about helping set this up so that we could get something at the same time, same topic or something similar, and then communicate data in between. So I'm really excited to figure out, teachers are sometimes not super excited or know what to do when they take their kids outside, right? It's chaos, or it feels like it will be. And we've gotten to the point where we have our cute little playgrounds outside that are a little bit more rustic. And we have some teachers who will take their kids outside. And so my hope is that if we can make more suggestions and give data collection, because then people say, well, I don't have the time with all the standards we have to cover. Well, if we can get the data collection piece to cover standards at the same time as getting kids outside. Yesterday, I took my natural resources class outside with binoculars, and we were just in the little dip, old front door of Denfeld, and we were just sitting around, and I thought they were going to be super embarrassed walking around the building with binoculars and just sitting in the courtyard because all the windows look out. They were not at all. There's a pigeon. Oh my God, is that a crow or a raven? I mean, they're just like, it didn't really matter, right? They just getting them outside noticing. So my hope is that it will help teachers who are scared get their kids outside if we can push this a little bit more, give more lessons, more examples. My hope is that I can go there, and the reason Athens is so cool is that one of the main women who publishes on this topic for all of Europe is at the University of Athens. So she's going to be my mentor, and we're still communicating a little bit as to if I'll work directly with her or one of her grad students, but to get connected to the teachers in Greece that are doing this already. I'm secretly hoping maybe she can also connect, because she works really closely with Finland and Germany and some other places, so I might have to go and visit some other places to visit schools and see how they're doing it and get ideas. Their schools are arranged very differently, and they're much tighter. Their day gets done by 1 o'clock or something in the afternoon. And then if you have money, you go get tutored after that. So public education is super short in the day. So I want to see how they're covering. How can they fit this in and work on that? So questions? I don't know.
Do you need a recovering immunologist to go with you?
Totally, totally. You can come. Yeah, open invite. Yeah, so I appreciate support, yes.
I was just going to say how impressed we are and how well you represent the school district and Denfeld, the school district, Duluth in general, just to be one of the few Fulbrights and going to Greece. It's just incredible. We were emailing a little bit, and I do have family in Greece, so if you.
I know, I'm
if
just
you need-
excited to find out
And somebody
where.
in Athens too, so if you need some backup or support, let us know.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah,
Well, I'm just really hopeful that we can figure out before you leave, working with Adele and other masterminds that know how to do this, where there is an opportunity, even for your own class at Denfeld, to be hooked
yeah.
up to, the classrooms that you're at in Greece and have some questions and conversations and open that up and,
yeah, we'll figure it out. Apparently, even to set foot in a school, you have to go to the teacher who gives you permission to the principal, who writes a letter to the Ministry of Education. And when the Ministry of Education says yes, then you can go into the building so I'm excited. We'll find out how much I can actually take photos and stuff, but at least of the spaces and
a
things.
retired English teacher could come along too.
Yeah, I know.
I taught the Odyssey, and it's really right in
know,
that sea
yeah,
area.
yeah.
I could rediscover, where Odysseus went and.
Right. And so I think that the hope I have in the request from all of you is when teachers are looking at doing weird and cool things like this, how we have a great teacher's contract, but it's very vague because I think we don't think about these things. And so, as Magus knows, it's been a little bit of a confusing, rough road as to how to get permission to do this and how to get my job back. Right now, there isn't a guarantee that I'm getting my position back when I get back. So just to make that smooth and supportive, I know when teachers leave for 2 to 5 years, that makes a lot of sense, but something short like this, to think outside the box, because I think cool things like this should be offered or encouraged, and that would be really great support from all of you. Yeah, so thank you.
My light's on. My light's on. So,
Or a comment.
so really quickly, hi. And Allison and I have been friends for a very long time, so I would like to join the other folks that want to go. Is that possible?
You are welcome.
Okay.
Make a board trip.
Yeah.
As long as we don't go at the same time. Or only 3 of us together.
It's a delegation. I love it. Do you want me to? Sure. Oh, come on, are you kidding? Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun to hear about. Have the best time. Thank you. The best time. So now we will move into a much less exciting report of the superintendent. So I will turn it over to Superintendent Magus.
Thank you for that exciting intro. No, it is hard to compete with such an amazing educator, and we do have some information. We would normally be starting with our, let me just cast here a second. We would normally be starting with our student reports, but our student leaders are not with us today, but we do have Kate Dean's report, and I believe that Member Mike saw you were going to read it?
Yeah, I have the
Thank you so
honor of
much.
doing that. So from our Duluth East student representative, Kate Dean. Good afternoon. Unfortunately, I'm not able to attend the meeting because she is at dress rehearsal for the musical. And she goes on to say, I wish I could be at the meeting tonight. I'm at tech rehearsal for the fall musical. Here are the updates I have. We are approaching the end of the first quarter. It's been a busy one here at East. Homecoming took place 2 weeks ago and was a huge success. Student government put together our theme, Hurricane Hounds, dress-up days, all based around a weather theme, 2 assemblies, a movie night, lunch activities, and of course, a dance. We sold almost 900 tickets to the dance, which was at the deck. It was a week filled with spirit and was one to remember. Last week, the East National Honor Society inducted new members from the senior class. Each of them will spend 30 hours volunteering, and at least 15 of those hours will come from tutoring students at East. On the theme of community service, ABO Hounds are preparing for their fall blood drive, and Key Club remains the biggest club at East. Next, the boys' soccer and football teams have wrapped up their seasons, and athletes are beginning to look towards winter sports. The final cross-country team dinner is tonight, and their season is also at its end. The girls' soccer team is playing their first game at the state soccer tournament tonight, and a fan bus full of East students went along to support them. Next, the fall musical, Alice by Heart, opens this Thursday. Shows on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are at 7 p.m., and the Sunday matinee is at 1. Student tickets are $10, and adult tickets are $15. Tomorrow, East students will experience our new Pause Day schedule for the first time. I created a form for students to share their opinions about our new schedule, which includes only 2 blocks during the day in which students can attend clubs. The most common statements and responses testify that students are struggling to meet their class requirements, challenge themselves academically, and still have time to be involved with school clubs. Without WIN, students who don't have the option to be part of a sports team or other high-commitment activities aren't able to get nearly as involved with extracurriculars. In addition, those who are very busy after school don't have many options to expand their participation through in-school clubs. This is an issue that affects students daily, and I plan to bring more feedback and testimonies after seeing how tomorrow goes. I look forward to being back for the November meeting. This is respectfully submitted by Student Representative Dean.
Thank you so much for sharing.
I have a quick question. Can you please reread the dates and times of the musical?
Begins this Thursday, is opening night, and the dates are
Oh, I don't need the dates. How about the times? I missed.
7 p.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 1 p.m. on Sunday.
Thank you.
And everyone should go. It's going to be amazing.
Excellent. Very much appreciate it. So as far as the other topics for tonight, I have some general updates, some updates related to human resources, as well as some legislative updates. It's a fairly brief superintendent report, and I would say that things have been very busy, and they're always busy, but I would say me and my team I think everybody would agree it's been busier than usual, and so the reports are moderately brief, but we can answer any questions you may have. So as far as general updates, as I mentioned last month, our enrollment is up significantly, and we're frequently hearing lots of praise about Duluth Public Schools. I think that's hearing from the chamber at our board retreat, hearing from many others about just how people are really, really supportive of our schools. And I think that that is showing in our enrollment. We still have some things to work out because space is constrained, as we heard during our listening session at some of our sites, such as Lester Park, Homecroft, and Myers-Wilkins. And I think that's something that we're discussing with board members as well, just as far as what can we do as far as next steps related to some of those constraints that we see. And yeah, I know that in some of our schools, as we heard, that there are sometimes class sizes with 25, 26, 27 students in some of our classrooms. That in general is the norm, unless it's a very low poverty classroom. Then we have rates in the teens, because those are funded through our comp ed and title and other funding areas. So sometimes if there's a classroom with, say, 19 and 20 at one school versus 27 at another, it might be because there were that many students at that grade level. And if there were over 30 students, we generally split that. So that's generally how we work with enrollment. But our numbers are pretty high in some of our elementaries. And at Homecroft, for instance, they are out of room, as is Lester Park. They're at Homecroft, they're using the teacher's lounge as a classroom. And so I think that we are at a point as a district where we have to really consider looking into our demographic studies and seeing where the populations continue to grow, and consider how we can work on that. We're also continuing our work in labor management, working with the Bureau of Mediation with our Duluth Federation of Teachers on October 30th, thinking about how we can continue to improve our labor management practices. Really trying to take it from good to great is what we said at our last meeting, because we always work on collective problem solving. So next Thursday, we're meeting with all the members of QSC, and we're going to be getting training, working together on how can we do that. Last time we worked with them, it was in, I want to say, 2021, and it was a really good experience. And we did some things that we changed some practices that we still have in place today, but we will continue that. Also, we started work on our First Street building. There's a lot going on there, and I'd be glad to set up board tours at some point. I'll work with facilities to see what's possible, but as we get further down the road, that's something that we can do. And we look forward to providing more information in the near future about those developments. I also recognize that the board is likely interested in further exploring naming of the building. So that's something that we want to think about as a board, because it would be nice to go through the naming process potentially before we open it in fall. I think it would be great. That'd be great, rather than just call it the First Street building. It'd be nice if we are going to name it, to go through that process, and that process takes several months. So that's something that I would encourage the board and administration to consider. As far as human resources updates, Teresa Severance, I just want to say thanks to her for many, many years of great service. Her last day was on October 10th, and I'm serving as the interim director of human resources for the time being. The position was reopened after it was open for a couple weeks to gain more applicants. It's now closed, and we're reviewing the current applications. And we're also considering exploring external temporary supports if needed. Sometimes there are human resources or there are various entities that can provide support to a department. And we're very thrilled to have Steve Johnson, our new human resources manager, but knowing that he's only been here for a couple weeks, I think it's important for us to make sure that we continue to provide the high-quality human resources support that's needed there. I enjoy working in the role, but it does consume a lot of time, and it's important to make sure that we have somebody that's highly knowledgeable in those areas. As far as legislative updates, yesterday I met with our lobbyist, Jeff Anderson, to discuss our timeline and process for our legislative platform. We're hoping to have this as a topic at our November workshop. We talked about that in previous workshops, that it'd be great to use part of workshop time to go over our platform. And I was thinking that if we do that, we could finalize and then vote on the platform in December. And then we could meet with our local representatives in January prior to the session beginning with a completed platform. Last time we met with our representatives when we had a draft, and I think it would be nice if we sequenced it and got it done a little earlier. That way it would be finished. And then on Friday, October 7th, I chaired a meeting of the Minnesota Association of School Administrators working on developing their platform. We had over 50 superintendents and district administrators participate in the process, and we'll meet in November to finalize the platform for approval by their executive board. So that'll be something that's done in conjunction with the Association of Metropolitan Superintendents as well. We also continue to monitor the impacts of federal government shutdown. At this point, our programming has not really been significantly affected because we've had money in reserve to deal with this type of situation. But as things go on, that is something that could have more impact. And we are, like the rest of the state and the rest of the country, watching to see how things develop there. Any questions?
Member Sadowski.
Thank you, Chair Eater. Just more of a comment for maybe some of our, I remember when I first started on the board, my first year or two, we went through a naming, where we renamed the Denfeld football field. So I would just remind everyone of our policy 810. It'd be a good one to review as we kind of step into the process. So more of just a comment. It's 810, naming rights and naming school facilities. Thanks.
Member Loeffler-Camp.
Thank you, and Member Sadowski, you make this policy chair just shine that you brought up that policy, so good job. Superintendent Magus, great report. Just a couple quick things. With the legislative platform, will our lobbyist, Jeff Anderson, be sending out a survey again so that we can kind of share our thoughts on different issues like he did last year? I found that really helpful, and I think many board members did as well.
That's an excellent suggestion. I'm sure he'd be more than willing to do so.
Okay.
I'd also say, like, some people might think, a lobbyist, the Duluth Public Schools has a lobbyist. That's interesting. And I would say every year, it's well more than paid off for itself. It's resulted in millions and millions of dollars over the years. Every year, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars we've gotten in funding based on having that lobbyist. And so I think it's important that we continue to support that. I think it brings in far more resource than it costs us.
I would second that as well. Our lobbyist and previous lobbyists for our district have done excellent work in representing the Duluth Public Schools and bringing us and making opportunities for board members and staff to participate in lobbying a bit more actively. So I look forward to meeting with Jeff at our meeting the end of November. My second quick question, or comment, I just really appreciate the leadership that you have provided on MASA and other state organizations around lobbying and legislative issues. And I think that just really gives us an opportunity to shine as a district, but just really appreciate that is one of your roles as a school board member, and you do it well, and just really appreciate that you are using your time also with other organizations that we can learn from and we can collaborate with. So thank you on that.
Thank you very much. And in talking with Mr. Anderson, we also talked about making sure that when we are thinking about our spring, that we think about having the board come down and have opportunities to meet. And we want to make sure that we stagger that a little bit so that it's not right next to, for example, the MASA or the AMSD meeting. So, because then sometimes you're meeting with people and then meeting with them a couple days later, or a week later. And so we want to think about that pacing. So I'll be glad to work with the board with that, as well as the survey.
Clerk Mixell.
Yeah, just two quick questions. You had mentioned that with the federal shutdown, we're currently not being effective because we have a reserve. And I was just checking who is the we there? Is it Duluth Public Schools or is it the Minnesota Department of Education?
I would say some of both. The state of Minnesota is using some reserves for some of their programming as well. But Duluth Public Schools is using our reserves. And Simone, if you want to comment on that in any greater detail, feel free. But that we're getting constant updating. There was a email yesterday or today, I think I actually have it with me, maybe yesterday. Do you want to just comment on that?
Regarding Head Start?
Yes.
Yes. We are getting information. We received information yesterday that we are to continue as business as usual. And we are still receiving payments. So we are unique because our program is housed within our district, where many are sometimes housed outside of the district. So we are unique that way. And, you know, I know I spoke with the community ed director and Assistant Superintendent Bonds, we're just reassuring staff that we have every intention of continuing our process, so.
I would say that we are impacted, though, in other ways. When we think about, you know, families maybe not getting paychecks, when we think about food programmings like SNAP and WIC that have been cut or suspended, those affect many of our historically underserved students and have impact on us, as well as when we think about the Office of Civil Rights and the Department of Education. A lot of times if we have questions, there were direct people that we could call and have conversation. I also think about there were certain situations where we were working through civil rights issues, and unfortunately that work was paused because of a lack of people that were able to address it. So I would say it's not without impact, but as far as our ability to still put on day-to-day larger programming, we haven't been significantly impacted yet. But we continue to monitor things carefully.
Thank you. Last question, you mentioned the October 30th meeting with the Bureau of Mediation and the DFT. I was just curious if there was a specific event that led to that, or is this a routine meeting that happens, or?
Yeah, so there wasn't, and I actually was trying to preface things carefully because I think sometimes people might think like Bureau of Mediation, like is something being mediated. It's what they actually do is they work with teams to think about how they work together and think about their skills. And so it was actually kind of like when we have our workshop and we're working on governance, trying to think about how do we continue to improve our relationship while things are still good, like while things are really good, how do we make things even better? I would also say, I would say during our QLT and QSC process, we all feel sometimes that it's a good opportunity for collaborative problem solving, and it's also sometimes a time when people are needing to vent about concerns. And what we found sometimes is if we have 25 items, for instance, we don't get to go deeply enough into any of the one items to really do a deeper problem solving. And so that's one of the things we're focusing on is how can we maybe go deeper with fewer items so that we make more progress on it, as opposed to it being kind of a quarterly cycling of the same issues. And so I would feel confident in saying that it was between the leadership of the DFT and us that we were just deciding that we wanted to do this as kind of like a I was going to say a marriage retreat or something, but that might not be the most accurate thing. But just sort of saying like things are good. There isn't a specific problem, but how do we continue to focus on making things better? So there wasn't an issue that arose or a need for mediation on a particular thing. It's more around continuous improvement of our processes.
Great, thank you so much for clarifying.
Thank you.
Member Loeffler Kemp, do you?
Thank you. Now I have three things. One is I'm familiar with the Bureau of Mediation, and it's common for them to do trainings like this between management and staff. So I look forward to it. Both Member Lofold and I, as you guys know, serve on the QSC, the Quality Steering Committee, and I believe both of us will be also at that training on next Thursday too, representing you as a board. Two other just quick things, though, Superintendent, you talked about some of the ways that we are being impacted with the shutdown. Can you touch on anything with special education? with the shutdown.
I'm looking at phone a friend for Director Crane. I would say, as Director Crane comes to the front, I would say, again, when it comes to guidance, sometimes that's something where if we have an issue that needs resolution or something through the IDEA Act or something like that we don't have anybody that we can call for that guidance at this point. But Director Crane, want to save me?
2.8 million is around our federal funds that we get for special education. They were allotted to the district, and every school district gets those funds in July, so we have our funds. They've already been issued. So no changes to the programming that our federal funds support for special education at this time.
Thank you.
Just to follow up with that, I just know that some folks have said on different sites, like the information has been changed on there, or you can't get into certain documents and things like that. And I'm, again, just curious, and I actually was going through a training and where I needed to get to a federal site, and I couldn't reach some of the documents that should have automatically popped up. And so
That side is true. I mean, the people that, during the shutdown, the people that aren't at their desks are not available for the resources. But a lot of our networking and support comes from the state of Minnesota. And those people are still there. I just went down to the Department of Education for a meeting 2 weeks ago. Wonderful new site that they have, actually. They used to be in Roseville, and now they're off of Stinson Avenue Boulevard in Minneapolis. And those people are available to network with us, and we still have our finance support people like Paul Farron that we work very closely with on our resources.
Great, thank you. I'm glad to hear that, and I appreciated, Superintendent, you also just talking about the broader impact of like the SNAP program and programs like that. I actually, as I've been out door knocking, 1 week I ran into 4 families that parents both worked for the federal government. They were furloughed, and so there's that piece of it as well. So thank you for raising those broader concerns.
Member Lowfall.
Thank you. So my questions have pretty much been covered though too, but I really love that you asked the question about the mediation part of it, because I know that when you say we're getting something from the mediation services, so thank you for going further into that. I do feel like Superintendent Magus really keeps us updated on shutdown information or funding information, so I appreciate that. I'll just tag in with this. So we did the legislative kind of update, and maybe tonight we would have had 3 legislative resolutions that we submitted to MSBA to be considered, coming from the kind of the Duluth School Board, but as a way to interact with our MSBA and their lobbyists. And we sent 3. We sent a resolution on career and tech ed funding. We sent one on increasing just the general fund. We get a 2% or a 3%, but we're asking for 5%. And our resolution said something along the lines of the increase in technology and cybersecurity funding. And our last resolution was on transportation and a funding formula for districts that have such a large geographic area like Duluth does. And so, one, I want to thank us as a board for being active in thinking that it's good to send even resolutions from our community down to MSBA, because they're our voice as well at the legislature. But I want you to also got a letter back that said these were really great submissions, but felt that they already were being, like, they were submitted last session, still being worked on, so they appreciate it, but we're not going to actually have one in the MSBA packet. Just wanted to update you on that. But it's good that we support the process of advocacy, and I really do support working with Mr. Anderson as our lobbyist as well. He really opens up doors of opportunity for us to use our voices at the Capitol.
2 things, if I could. Sorry. I didn't mean to start speaking, but I just have, I suffer from tabulitis, which is keeping all your tabs open on your computer, and I happened to click on one of the tabs, which was a message that we sent to all of our families a few weeks ago about our federal funding, and we said within it that the Minnesota Department of Education has informed us that due to the availability of prior one-year funding, most of the state's federal education programs, including ours, like Head Start and preschool, will continue to operate through the beginning of the shutdown. So that explains in a little more detail what the state is doing. And then I will make sure that I keep you aware of some of the ongoing things that are being asked for related to funding. One thing that affects our district and a lot of the northeastern districts in the state is a change in taxes on recreational properties. And I think that's something we want to keep our eye on, because right now, you know that like when people pay property tax and it goes to, this part goes to the city, part goes to the county, part goes to the school district, that's great. But the recreational properties, the tax money for that goes into just goes into the general state account. And so rather than it being considered taxable property for school districts, it doesn't. And so many districts, especially along the North Shore, Duluth being included, and having properties on North Shore and Island Lake and those areas, those recreational properties, we don't get the tax money for that. And so that's something that we're looking at changing.
And I would just say, to clarify, recreational properties, that's like second homes and cabins too, just for anyone that might be listening. So sometimes when we say recreational property, someone might think 40 acres where you can go four-wheeling or something. So it's a significant tax base that would have a huge impact on many small rural districts. It would also have an impact on Duluth Public Schools.
Thanks for clarifying.
Thank you, Superintendent Magus. Do we have any additional questions? All right, we'll move on to, we have a schedule of meetings and events attached to our, attached to our board book for everybody to to peruse, to see what our next couple weeks look like. Next, we'll move on to reports of the standing committee, and we'll turn it over to Assistant Superintendent Bonds to talk about the monthly committee of the whole meeting.
Thank you. And that meeting was held on October 7th. We had 3 presentations that were provided that night. Under the category for advancing equity, a presentation was provided by our Director of Elementary Schools, Brenda Sparts, as well as some of our teachers who teach in our Myers-Wilkins Spanish Immersion Program. You had a lot of information, or heard a lot of information tonight from some of our families who shared their concerns, but I want to thank Brenda Sparks and the teachers for coming that night to provide an update related to the transition and the expansion of the Spanish Immersion Program to Myers-Wilkins from Lowell, or in conjunction with Lowell. So I really do encourage community members, if they have not had a chance to do so, please watch the COW meeting that was presented on the 7th, because it did provide some information, and you also heard the voices from our teachers. And so I want to thank the team again for that presentation. Under the area for improving systems, there were 2 items. The school resource officer update was provided by our Director of Secondary Schools, Jen Larva. She, as well as some of our principals and officers, were here to provide a update related to how we assess the overall performance of our school resource officer program, as well as how it connects with our contract with DPD. So I want to thank them for their presentation as well. And the third presentation under that category was provided by our very own Superintendent of Schools, John Magus. He provided an update related to the Vision Card Strategic Plan. The intent of that presentation was to provide the board an update related to the development of the Vision Card, which consists of both the inward and outward measuring tools that will look at our key performance indicators. So Mr. Magus provided that insight. And again, if individuals want to know, like, how are we going to assess our district's performance to improve outcomes for our students, that would be a good presentation to at least get a glimpse of some of the ways we're going to measure and hold ourselves accountable for those improvements. So that was the three presentations that were given tonight, and I want to thank Superintendent Magus for his presentation.
Do we have any question, Member Laflerkamp?
Just a comment. I just wanted to appreciate that the Myers-Wilkins Spanish immersion update and the fact that both the principals from Lowell as well as Myers-Wilkins was there and all of the teachers. Hearing from them gave a lot of good insight. So just really appreciated that the teachers who are working in the classrooms with our kids and with the families were well represented that night for that presentation. So thank you.
See, Superintendent Magus.
Yes, on that note, I know that Director Sparts had addressed some things just as far as summary of some of the parents and such. And let me just pull that up. I apologize. 1 second. I'm not seeing it right now, but we will follow up with the board on some of the summary of some of those things that were brought up. But I think it's important that we continue to address. Thanks.
Seeing no further questions, we'll move on to our HR Business Services report.
Can you hear me okay if my microphone is this far away? Okay, great. We met on October 13th, so last Monday, I believe, here at 4:30, and we reviewed 376 pages of HR business and documents. So normally I, kind of go over the just different reports that we have, so I'll kind of summarize those and usually do top 5 highlights, but because there was almost 400 pages, I have about 7 or 8 tonight, but I'll try to be succinct, and I would encourage our public to check out our HR Business Service meeting, which is on YouTube, where we go through in very depth and detail the report. But normally we go over our Human Resources report, and then reports including under business services of our enrollment, child nutrition, facilities, technology, transportation. We also go over our recommended resolutions, of which we have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A through E, so 5. And then on our consent agenda this time, we actually had many job descriptions because of the hard work that our staff have been doing to kind of shore up some of those, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And we also go over our financial report. We review all of our bids, RFPs and quotes. We review our contracts, change orders, and leases. And then a lot of times we have miscellaneous informational items like expenditure contracts, no-cost contracts, revenue contracts, grant applications, and change orders signed, which we've had a few of those, and you'll see a few in our packet because of the work that we're having done, and that's normal operations for a construction project that always happens. So the couple things that I wanted to, 7 things that I wanted to highlight today, I'm going to start with our Human Resources report. I think it's important to point out that we have our food services employees contract for 2025 to 2028. In addition, we have our Education Directors Association contract, and that's for years 2025 through 2027. We also recognized and welcomed Stephen Johnson, who's our new HR manager, and so we welcomed Stephen. And we also noted that, as we know, we said goodbye and thank you to Director Severance, who moved on to a different position, and we really appreciate all that she has done for our district in the last couple of years, especially regarding improving systems, which was one of our strategic directions. And then I would briefly point out on our enrollment report that we're still up. So we budgeted 8,099 students, and as of this report, we are at 8,254.59. So we are up a couple hundred students from what we budgeted for, which is really great news. And I think there's a lot of different reasons for that, which I won't get into on this report. But I think parents are really appreciating the myriad of programs that we have in our Duluth Public Schools. And then on our facilities report, I think it's important to note, and Superintendent Magus mentioned this, but construction on the DNT has started. So I would take you up on an offer for a tour, for sure. And there's also a lot of work on other buildings happening, which is noted in the report. And we also said thank you to Elizabeth Ledoux and Daniel Colden for 40 years of service in the district. One of them retired and one of them is still working, but we really appreciate that. It is a long time to stay with one employer, and we're very grateful for all that they've given to the district over the last 40 years. And then in our transportation report, I think just important to note that we service 484 routes for busing students. So I think Member Banks pointed that out, or someone did, and it was definitely a significant number, so wanted to highlight that. We really appreciate all of our bus drivers who are oftentimes the first person that our students see in the morning, and they get our kids safely to school. And then I would highlight our resolutions, because those are always important. And we have 5 of them, which we'll bring forth in a little bit, but I thought it was important to probably talk about some of them. In my packets on page 15, it's Resolution B 25-4123, and it's, hold on here. It's the resolution providing for the issuance, sale, and delivery of general obligation capital appreciation facilities. And basically what this one is this is part of our LTFM plan. You remember that we gave permission to bond, which is a normal part of our LTFM planning process that we do. And this is the resolution for the issuance, sale, and delivery of the bonds. So you can kind of think of it as our mortgage papers. And I think it's significant to point out that we had originally given permission to bond for a percentage rate of up to 4.74%, but because of our work shoring up our district's finances as a board, as an administration, we got a 3.52% rate, which is really great. It's, that's, a couple $1 million right there that we have extra to kind of work with, which is great. So, and that's, in great part to our Moody's rating, which is an A3. Yeah. And then I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to do all our resolutions, but I wanted to, in my book, it's page 155, but if you look at our contracts, which I'm going to go to, one of our contracts was the General Obligation Capital Appreciation Facilities Bond Series. And this was basically giving permission to Bayer to purchase the bonds. So this was our purchase agreement. So you can kind of think of it if you buy a house and you give an offer and you get a purchase agreement, versus if you go over here to the resolution, this is the mortgage papers. So I just wanted to, and I thank Director Zunich for that analogy, but it really helps clarify things. I can't take credit for that, but it certainly, when you're asking detailed questions like we do at our committee meetings and, in person, that helped clarify. So then I will move on to our second resolution, which is on page 33 here. And this is the resolution B-10-25-4127. And this is the resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of full-term certificates of participation, and this is basically setting the parameters for the Duluth News-Tribune. It's giving Baird permission to go to market to purchase the bonds for that building. And then we have our third resolution, which is the acceptance of donations to Duluth Public Schools. I would encourage everyone to take a look at that long, long list. We are so grateful to our community. It was multiple pages this time. And we're very thankful to our community for those donations. And then our fourth resolution is the acceptance of grant awards to Duluth Public Schools. And our fifth resolution is authorizing a bank account signer, which is business as usual, that we see those come across our desks every once in a while here. And then on our consent agenda, we had, like I said, multiple job descriptions. I would just say thank you to not only our staff administratively, but a lot of our clerical job descriptions were overhauled, and our clericals played a significant role in that process, giving feedback, sharing about what their job looks like, and it just sounds like it was a very collaborative process. After our HR business service meeting, I just got some feedback from a couple staff saying that they really appreciated being involved in that process. And I know how much work it is to redo job descriptions, and so this is quite the undertaking, and really appreciate the work on that. One of the job descriptions that I did highlight was on page 122, payroll specialist. And this person is going to really help us navigate the complexities that come with PFML, so paid family medical leave, and ESST, so earned sick and safe time. Those programs can get a little bit complicated. They're great, but we needed to hire someone to help with that. And then our financial report, not a lot to report because we're so early in the school year, but it's looking good. Status quo. We also had our fundraisers on page 145. And yeah, the other contract that I would point out was on page we only had 2, but the other one was on page 169, and that's our contract with Baird, who helps us with a lot of our financial matters. Any questions or comments? Superintendent Magus?
No, I appreciate the detailed summary, and I really am excited about that Moody's rating. I mean, I think when a lot of people think about trust and financial responsibility, Moody's is one of the most highly regarded organizations in the world for bond ratings. And our Moody's rating could be thought of as kind of our organizational credit score, and for our score to remain the same and high as it is right now, that shows that Duluth Public Schools is rated by independent outside agencies as doing a really good job with their finances. And they're also, considering even raising it higher if we continue on our trajectory. So I want to say thanks to the board, and thanks for everybody who has put in the hard work to make the hard choices that we've made. And even some of the financial correction we've made with having to make some budget reductions. That was really hard for everybody involved, but that was a big part of what kept our rating, because if we hadn't made that course correction, it would have been seen as not being on the right financial trajectory. So sometimes when people are out there saying, you can't trust the school or things are not handled fairly, to have an outside agency that's one of the highest regarded in the world say that we're incredibly trustworthy that says a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I just had a comment. Thank you. I appreciate your great report, Member Sadowski. I just had a quick question on the revenue contracts that were signed. And no, that's okay. I just, a clarification, I guess. I'm excited that our CTE programs are working with the Northeast Service Cooperative to help start up at East High School a student-run cafe. That was so popular when we had that in the past with the culinary program, and so I just wanted to clarify, I guess, that Danette Siebel is the one who's kind of helping get that going with the staff person at East, the culinary person, is that correct? Is there any more you could share, I guess?
I would have to defer to Danette, but she is the one who has been working with that instructor on building that programming. So I want to make sure that she has a chance to share that fully.
Okay, and I can follow up with her. I saw that that staff.
I appreciate you pointing that out. There's so much in here, so
There
it's
was,
really
there
hard to
was.
narrow it down to 8 things.
No, it was
But
a
we
great
did talk
report.
about that at the meeting too. I don't think we got in the details, but it certainly sounded like it was, moving back in that direction, so.
Thank you, Member Sadowski. Now sorry. Member Lowfold.
So I just want to appreciate the transparency we've worked on. This is the second month now, and earlier this week, I went on to look to, and you're updating it. It's the bids, quotes button on the website that opens up the opportunity for those that are in our trades, in our community, to kind of see what's coming up. We do have build-out going on in, of course, the First Street building, but in other buildings throughout, too, the roofing and the parking lot. So I really appreciate, through the kind of dialogue you've had during your business service meeting, to kind of aid the community in that easy access to see what they can bid on. And now that just helps them make decisions on where they can work. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for that comment, and thank you to Adele, too, for her work on our website and getting that up. Really appreciate it.
Okay, seeing no further questions from Member Sadowski, Member Loeffler-Kemp will give us our Policy Committee update.
Great, thank you so much. So we had 139 pages to discuss on Thursday, October 9th, we are just doing some excellent work going through our policies. Everything I'm going to update on is on our consent agenda later on that we'll be voting on. Just for the public, and I know we have a couple folks in the audience that are new to coming to these meetings, but going to our committee meetings like our HR, business, and then our policy committee, the YouTube, a lot of the discussion happens at those committee meetings. And so I encourage you to check that out each month, and they're usually posted right away after the meetings themselves. But my report then starts with policies for first reading. And the three policies I'm going to highlight are new policies. We've had that align with just best practices, and so they're new policies. That's why they're here for a first reading. The first one is Policy 303, Superintendent Selection. The purpose of this policy is to convey to the school community that the authority to select and employ a superintendent is vested in the school board. The second is Policy 304, Superintendent Contract, Duties, and Evaluation. The purpose of this policy is to provide for the use of an employment contract with the superintendent, a position description, and the use of an approved instrument to evaluate performance. And again, there's more to these policies, but that's the main purpose. And then the third one is 306, Administrator Code of Ethics. The purpose of this policy is to establish the requirements of the school board that school administrators adhere to the standards of ethics and professional conduct in this policy and Minnesota law. So those are for first readings. Policies for second readings include Policy 301, and this is school district administration. The purpose of this policy is to clarify the role of the school district administration and its relationship with the school board. And with this policy, we would be replacing a 2055 quality of work-life philosophy. And then the next policy for second reading is Policy 305, which is policy implementation. And the purpose of this policy is to clarify the responsibility of the school administration for implementation of school district policy. And in discussing that, we also talked about reviewing this each year rather than the 3 years that normally we would review policies unless they come up in front of us for other legislative changes or other reasons. And so those were the two policies for second reading. And I just want to make a note, when we pass these or after the consent agenda, we will be done going through our 2000 series and replacing them with these, which thank you to Patty, especially for all the work she as our staff person helps us with these policies. So that was a big celebration at our policy meeting. And then we had policies for review, and again, policies for review generally are maybe small changes to the policy or legislative changes, or they're up for a 3-year review. So I'll quickly go through those. Policy 416, drug, alcohol, and cannabis testing. And the purpose of this policy is the school board recognizes the significant problems created by drug, alcohol, and cannabis use in society in general, and the public schools in particular. The school board further recognizes the important contribution that the public schools have in shaping the youth of today into the adults of tomorrow. The school board believes that a work environment free of drug, alcohol, and cannabis use will not only be safer, healthier, and more productive, but also more conducive to effective learning. To provide such an environment, the purpose of this policy is to provide authority so that the school board may require all employees and/or job applicants to submit to drug, alcohol, and cannabis testing in accordance with the provisions of this policy and is provided in federal law and Minnesota statutes, sections 181.950 to 181.957. And like, again, many of our policies, it goes through a general statement, definitions, and a variety of other sections, as well as the legal references and the cross-references, as well as when we last reviewed it. The main change with this actually had to do with the documentation that staff sign, and it was just a small language change, so not so much in the policy, but in the attachments that staff sign. So that was policy 416. The next policy is 621, and that is literacy in the READ Act. The policy aligns with Minnesota law established in the READ Act and on other topics related to reading. Duluth Public Schools places a high value on literacy as a core component of students' educational journey. The school district is committed to providing evidence-based reading instruction that is consistent with the READ Act, ensuring that students develop strong reading and writing skills, and the school district emphasizes a comprehensive, standard-based approach to literacy encompassing foundational skills, vocabulary development, reading fluency, and reading comprehension. This dedication to literacy aims to equip every student with the essential tools for academic success and lifelong learning in all subject areas. And as you may remember, we adopted this in 12 of 24 because the READ Act is new as a legislative statute. And so there's just really were some definition changes and some screening tools that were added from this past legislative session. So it didn't change the intent of the policy. It was more of an addition. So that was 621. And then the next one is policy 508, extended school year for certain students with individualized education programs, IEPs. The purpose of this policy is to ensure that school district complies with the overall requirements of law as mandated for certain students subject to individualized education programs, IEPs, when necessary to provide a free, appropriate public education. And this we brought forward because of it being our 3-year review on it, and there were no recommended changes. It follows state statute. So that is 508. And then policy 101, naming of the school district. The purpose of this policy is to clarify the name of the school district. Again, this is a 3-year review of this policy. We last reviewed it in 10/18/2022. So no changes to that. And then 101, status of the school district. A primary principle of this nation is that the public welfare demands an educated and informed citizenry. The power to provide for public education is a state function vested in the state legislature and delegated to local school districts. The purpose of this policy is to clarify the legal status of the school district. And again, this is up for 3-year review. We last reviewed and readopted it was 10/18/2022. No changes on that one. And I just want to go to my notes for a minute here. Let's see. So those are all for review. The next section was policies to be deleted. And this is under the 1,000 series, so it's 1,100 public performances by students. We discussed this a few months back, but we wanted to have some further discussion with our principals. And when they reviewed this, they recommended that it be deleted because our practices followed under a different policy. So that was 1,100. And then the last section was, we were looking at all of the Series 3000, and we had 40 policies to initially look at that could be deleted because they fall under other policies that we've either already adopted. And so of the 40 that fell under the 3000 series that were brought forward, we're recommending we delete 11 of them, and I'll quickly go through those. The other ones are going to go back to our staff and committees to review and bring back to us. And again, just a reminder to the board that we're looking to do chunks of these 1,000 series because many of them are already in our new 300 series. So the ones that we're going to recommend that we delete are, and I'm just going to, we don't have purposes like we do with the new policies, even though they're stated in kind of longer versions in the 1,000 series. But it's 3020 tuition fees for incoming non-residents, 3025 tuition fees outgoing residents, 3033 material fees, 3035 sale and disposal of equipment, 3050 funds management, 3055 purchasing, 3130 maintenance and operation of plant, 3137 memberships in community organizations, 3155 transportation responsibility of teachers, 3180 child nutrition, and 3185 child nutrition commodities. Again, this would be in the consent agenda. And then the last item was informational. It's deletion of 2055R, quality of work life, and we referenced that in the second reading. This regulation does fall under the DFT contract, so the information falls in another place. So that was our meeting, our 139 pages that we discussed. Did I miss anything, my fellow policy wonks? Okay. Then I recommend that we support these in the consent agenda. And then again, just a huge thank you to our staff that really brings forth a lot of the changes in these policies, as well as Patty Paquette, who keeps us moving forward and with these policies and keeps them updated for us. So a big thank you.
Seeing no questions, I just want to give just a hand to both of our committees this month. That was a lot of work. So thank you for that. That was a tremendous amount of work. So thank you for that. Do we have any general board committee updates that we'd like to share? Member Sadowski?
Yeah, I can update on the Duluth Head Start Policy Council meeting. We had a meeting on October 9th. We had it at Lowell from 5:30 to 7:30. We just have a really great group of parents, and I would just share my gratitude for them. I'm pretty sure we had every school covered, don't quote me on that, but every elementary school, which is pretty amazing. I could be wrong, but it was close, if not all. They learned, so some of the new business that they talked about on that date was the new community education director, Nate Chapman. So they were given an update about him and his work. Some of the parents gave a planning committee report, and I just wanted to share a reflection that a couple of the parents just shared, that this planning committee is such a great opportunity to connect with and learn about teachers, transportation, give feedback, but also they talked about the opportunity to gain leadership skills and network with other parents. And so I just wanted to kind of share that. Let's see what else. They learned about some new program interns. And let's see, I had some. They approved, the September minutes and the financial report. And yeah, our parents and Head Start Policy Council do a lot and offer a lot of advice. And I am looking for someone to fill in for me on November 13th. I believe I will be gone that week on vacation. So I can send an email out if someone's interested in filling in for me. It's a great meeting and food is provided and a great opportunity to connect with parents.
That'd be great if you want to send an email out to us, and then that'd be great. Member Mikesell?
Yesterday, I had the opportunity to attend the Staff Development Advisory Committee, of which I'm appointed to be on. And we know that our staff in our schools do amazing work with our kids, but it was so exciting to be here with like a wide variety of our staff members, from principals, teachers, paras, school psychologists. There was a wide gamut, and seeing the collaboration that they have together to teach and to learn more, to do the important work of our district was just so incredible. So Annie Schilling is our professional development coordinator, and she kind of like runs that ship and has been doing just amazing, very detailed work for every single one of our employees to go through professional development over the course of the year. Getting those days planned out is just a heavy lift, and she seems to be doing a great job, and she's really listening and taking in feedback from our staff. So there's a lot of collaborative discussion about needs that are had, and just a lot of good discussion there. So next Professional Development Day will be November 3rd. The catalog for that will be coming out at the end of the week. And I was able to attend the keynote speaker of the first Professional Development Day of this year, and it was amazing. It sounds as though they'll have some good good opportunities for our staff to really fine-tune their skills. And then, of course, after that, then there's another Professional Development Day in December. Paras will have a para-only development day in January, and so there's just always more work to be done. And I just am so proud of the work that our staff does every day to make themselves better so that they can make our students and our community better too. So, and then I don't know, Member Lofold, if you wanted to mention intergovernmental?
Yeah, I was
Okay,
gonna-
I'll let you handle that then.
Member Lofold?
Awesome, but then Member Mikesell really does run a really great intergovernmental too, so I feel like if I missed something, I wasn't going to go into great detail, but I also want to just piggyback off of, I really am glad that the professional development coordinator, which was someone different than our current one, but she really encouraged a school board member to sit on that committee. So that's a fairly new kind of committee that a school board member sits on, and I just think it's really a good lens for us to see all the different representations that come together to try to plan professional development for all units within our staff. So I really appreciate that. And then, like Member Mikesell said, we have intergovernmental, which when I share that with other leaders in our community, or when you hear it here at our board meeting, it's really a unique opportunity for a intergovernmental. It's truly intergovernmental. It is county commissioner, it is school board, and it is city council. 2 representatives, sometimes 3, from each entity, and we get together to talk about, commonalities. I'm going to share just one success. One of the bigger successes of that shared is that the St. Louis County gave a substantial amount of COVID money to our district through that committee talking, I wasn't serving on the committee then, to further check and connect. So there's really great advantage for us to meet. And this month, we had actually taken Superintendent Magus's ask of us, and there is, and you heard Mr. Vold talk about it tonight, there is a cannabis store that will be in proximity to our school when the First Street building opens. And Intergovernmental discussed that, and member Roz Randorf really did a lot of great groundwork to show us and give us direction about the city's policy and exactly where the responsibility is for opening those kinds of stores and opportunities in proximity to an educational facility. And we got a lot of questions answered, and bottom line is that it falls outside the parameters, so they can locate 3 blocks from a educational facility. But, you know, we can work for, you know, collaboration and do some discussion on that. Was there other topics? That was our big kind of topic of the day. And then,
Yeah, I
anything
think
else?
otherwise it was just collaboration,
yeah.
talking about future planning, demographic data, that kind of thing. So it
And
was a good
what I like going to the meeting for too is to see where the city has potential housing development going on, so that if we are seeing more building going on in certain sections of our city, maybe that needs to be looked at for our building capacity and where young families will be going if there's a lot of building going on. So it's just really a good committee, and I'm hoping others will, you know, get appointed to that in January when we redo committees. But it is virtual, which is nice for those of us that work different flexibilities. So, but a great committee too.
Member Banks?
Thank you. Just a quick question. Can you clarify or give us some information as to whether or not there can be a rezone of those types of businesses within proximity to our school buildings, et cetera?
Yeah, we can share the information that Councilor Randorf sent us after consulting with the city attorney, and the map that they used to draw out some of their, where their ordinances lie. So we'll be sure to send that out to you so we can get those questions answered.
Member Loeffler-Kemp?
Thank you. I'd appreciate getting that. So thank you for sharing that. The couple committees I serve on, we're meeting in November, so I'll have an update, but I just wanted to kind of throw it out that the Federal Grants Committee, and that's a committee of staff and community members. So we'll, under the leadership of Dr. Darren Sheldon, who's the principal out at Lakewood, so that's coming up. And then I also serve on the Duluth Public Schools Endowment Fund, which is a part of the Boreal Waters Community Foundation, former Duluth Duluth Superior Community Foundation. Thank you. That's why they switched their name. It was too long. Anyways, and so we're starting up our meeting again, and again, that's the committee where we give about $25,000 to $30,000 of grants to school staff, and that process will be starting up in January for that grant process, but the committee's going to be meeting in a couple weeks here. So just a quick update on those two committees.
Thank you. Seeing no further updates, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Member Sadowski, do we have a second? Second. Member Loeffler-Kemp, do we have any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing no consent agenda, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The consent agenda has passed. Boom. Okay, moving on for the resolutions from committee report. We will start out with Member Sadowski.
Can you say that one more time?
Sorry, my brain's really tired.
The resolution, starting out with the
Oh,
resolution from committee.
my resolution.
Yes.
Yep, I got it, right here on top. I am going to move Resolution B-25-4123. This is a resolution providing for the issuance, sale, and delivery of $38,664,948.70 of general obligation capital appreciation facilities maintenance bonds. Series 2025A, establishing the terms and form thereof, creating a construction fund and debt service fund therefore, and awarding the sale thereof. Be it resolved by the Duluth School Board, the Board of Independent School District 709, Duluth, St. Louis County, Minnesota, the district as follows. And then we have all read through this many times. So I move Resolution B-25-4123.
Do we have a second? Member Williams has seconded. Do we have any discussion on this resolution? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of passing Resolution B-25-4123, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The resolution has passed. And a big sigh over there from Executive Director Zunich. Next, Member Lofald.
Yes, I move Resolution B-10-25-4127, and this is a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of full-term certificates of participation, Series 2025B, in a principal amount not to exceed $9,795,000 to finance a portion of the project costs for a school building located at 424 West First Street in Duluth, Minnesota. So be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 709, St. Louis County, Minnesota, as follows. And then we've also had this in our packet, and it is the resolution B-10-25-4127 that I move.
Member Lofald has moved Resolution B-10-25-4127. Do we have a second? Member Sadowski has seconded it. Do we have any discussion on the resolution? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of Resolution B-10-25-4127, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The resolution has passed. Member Banks.
Thank you very much. I'm moving Resolution B-10-25-4124. This is a resolution for the acceptance of donations to Duluth Public Schools. Whereas Minnesota Statute 465.03 requires the school district to accept donations by resolution expressed in the terms prescribed by the donor in full, and whereas acceptance of the donation or donations in accordance with the donor's terms is in the best interests of the Duluth Public Schools. Now therefore be it resolved that the Duluth Public Schools does accept the below described donations from said organizations in accordance with the terms set forth herein. Be it further resolved that the Duluth Public Schools wishes to extend its grateful appreciation to these various individuals and organizations.
Member Banks has moved this resolution. Do we have a second? Member Loeffler Kemp has seconded. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, may I just share with folks?
Yes, please.
A little bit here. This is over 7 pages of donations to the Duluth School District in October. And just to give you some of the donations, for example, at Denfeld Irving Community Association, an award of $4,000 for the Denfeld High School Choir. Also at Denfeld, Duluth Aviation Institute, in kind, and $6,078 for aerospace physics, intro to aviation CTE course. For example, another from Denfeld, in fact, quite a few for Denfeld, but also quite a few for Lincoln Park Middle School. At Lincoln Park, over $8,000 in donations from, for example, Subaru, Miller Hill Subaru, The Lehman family, over $8,000 just for that one school, and that's absolutely wonderful. And Ordine East, other schools in the district received some substantial donations. Piedmont, Stowe, it's very exciting that so much has come into our district for our kids. But to get such large donations and to have such a community that supports our kids is exciting, and all of our kids will benefit from this. Thank you.
And I just want to note that I'm pretty sure on here, the Denfeld donation for the automotive program, the 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee that my son is working on in his brakes and automotive class. So
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure, so that's amazing. I love it. His best grade, by the way. Okay, Member Loeffler Kemp?
117 different grants. Or donations.
Donations,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah,
How many?
117.
Okay,
I just like
good
to
deal.
do the math.
Member
So
Loeffler?
my question is, I know we used to do this when I was coaching and would get those, I think we send thank yous to these people. Do we still? Does anybody know? Yes, Brenda. Oh, holy man, that's a lot this month. If he needs help, I can come and volunteer to help. Because I think that's really impressive. And I think I mentioned this last month too, that we, as a district, have made it so much easier for our buildings. And I know Thea's here, so maybe it's true that when there is a donation, we get it as a staff, we get a donation, click thing to the form to report it. So I think we're seeing more of what maybe we've always, maybe not, but because our school buildings are reporting it more because we've asked them to, and we've made it easier for them to do it. And so I think that just is an uplifting thing to be able to, at the end of our school board meeting, to see, the generosity that goes to all of our buildings. And I have to point out one, because I don't think I've ever seen it before, and it makes me think that we should do more, share with them. It's the Duluth Adult Education. Got snacks. We so often think of our K through 12 programs, but we have significant, great things going on at our Duluth Adult Education, and they got a donation for healthy snacks for adult education students. Quite impressive. I suppose we still have to vote on this, though.
No, we have a second, yep. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution is passed. Next, moving on, Member Loeffler Kemp.
Okay, I move Resolution B 1025-4125, acceptance of grant awards to Duluth Public Schools. Whereas Minnesota Statute 465.03 requires a school district to accept grants by resolution expressed in the terms prescribed by the donor in full, and whereas acceptance of the grant in accordance with the donor's terms is in the best interest of the Duluth Public Schools, now therefore be it resolved that the Duluth Public Schools does accept the below described grant from said organization in accordance with the terms set forth herein. Be it further resolved that the Duluth Public Schools wishes to extend its grateful appreciation to this organization. And we often have many others, but this time we have the Ordine Foundation, giving to Laura MacArthur, setting 3 classroom, $1,000 for community outings to practice functional and social skills. So I move Resolution B10 25-41-25.
Second.
Yes, okay, so do we have any discussion on this? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution has passed. Member Mikesell? Or did I skip one?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
The same.
I just got
So-
so excited. Okay.
So,
Member Lofald?
Right?
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
Resolution B-10-25-4126. This is a resolution authorizing a bank account signer It's resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 709, St. Louis County, Minnesota, that it hereby authorizes the following. It's asking, or it's allowing Nathan Chapman, our new hire in community ed, to be the authorized signer. So I move Resolution B-10-25-4126.
Member Lofeld has moved the resolution. Do we have a second? Member Williams has seconded. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution has carried. Now, we're ready for you.
I am moving Resolution E-10-25-4128, Form A resolution of governing board supporting the application to Minnesota State High School League's foundation. Whereas the Minnesota State High School League Foundation was formed to provide support for Minnesota's high school youth to participate in athletics and fine arts, whereas the governing board of Duluth, Denfeld, and East High School in ISD 709 recognizes the value of student participation in extracurricular activities, and whereas the Minnesota State High School League Foundation is offering grants and funding to assist schools in recognizing, promoting, and funding extracurricular participation by high school students in athletic and fine arts programs, therefore be it resolved that the governing board of Duluth, Denfeld, and East High School in ISD 709 supports the school's application to the Minnesota State High School League Foundation for a Form A grant to offset student activity fees.
Member Mike Sells moved the resolution. Do we have a second? Member Banks has seconded. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is passed. Member Sadowski.
Yes, I remove Resolution HR-10-25-4129. This is the resolution for the Education Directors Association, resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 709, St. Louis County, Minnesota, that the collective bargaining agreement between Independent School District 709 and Education Directors Association, a summary of which is in the hands of all school board members, be approved and adopted for the period July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2027, inclusive, and that the chairperson and clerk of the school board be hereby authorized to execute said agreement on behalf of the school district.
Member Sadowski has moved the resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
Member Mike Sells seconded. Do we have any discussion? Yes,
Just have
Member Banks.
Just a quick question. So I know on some of our contracts, we've had 3-year contracts and 2 years. So this is 2 years. Can somebody explain to me why it's 2 years as opposed to 3? Or was that just a part of the negotiation?
I can explain if that would be okay. As interim director of human resources. No, most of the contracts with our bargaining units are generally 2-year terms. The superintendent contract is a 3-year term, and so that's just the way that they are in the state, at least for the superintendent contracts and most bargaining unit contracts. Occasionally, we'll sign more than 1 2-year agreement, like with our teachers. We had 2 2-year agreements, and we're in the second cycle of that. And when working with my superintendent friends, we're sometimes the envy of many other districts because we already have finished our contract negotiations for our teachers 2 years ago. So that is why they're a little bit different.
That was discussion, right? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is carried. Member Loeffler-Kemp.
Okay, I move resolution HR 1025-4130. This is the food service employees contract. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 709, St. Louis County, Minnesota, that the collective bargaining agreement between Independent School District 709 and the food service employees, a summary which is in the hands of all school board members, be approved and adopted for the period July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2028, inclusive, and that the chairperson and the clerk of the school board be hereby authorized to execute the said agreement on behalf of the school district. And I just also want to thank Teresa Severance and the food service negotiating team for their work on this.
Member Loeffler-Kemp has moved the resolution. Do we have a second? Member Banks has seconded. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is passed. And last, for 11D, we have an approval of an individual contract for the Director of Advancing Equity. Member Banks.
Thank you. This agreement is made between the employee and the School Board of Independent School District Number 709, Duluth, Minnesota School District, herein referred to as the employer. In consideration of the mutual promises and agreements set forth below, the employee and the employer agree to the following, and there's approximately 20 agreements here. I will not be mentioning the employee's name, but I am bringing this to the board for approval.
Thank you, Member Banks. Do we have a second? Member Williams has seconded. Do we have any discussion? Superintendent Magus.
Some discussion on this item and then a referral back to the last clarification I made.
Oh, yeah.
Just really excited that our school district is still working hard to fulfill our second priority. First is supporting every student, second is advancing equity, and third is improving systems. Sorry, I'm a little tired. It's been a long day. But anyway, for us to be able to have a director of advancing equity speaks to our commitment to it, and I'm proud to be part of a community and a district that still believes in the work of equity. And back to my previous comments about the 2-year contracts, most bargaining units are on 2-year contracts, but there are some that are on 3, and this is on a 3-year contract, and I stand corrected.
Pull it together, interim director. Come on now. Okay, we have to still vote on this, right? Okay, all those in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution has carried. And I just closed my computer. I need left. Do we have, sorry. Yikes, okay. Do we have any questions or other?
Chair Eater?
Yes.
I would just like to report, I was looking at my watch kind of a little bit at the end because Denfeld won their first football playoff, 18-12 against Cloquet. And then I wonder if anybody has an update for soccer or anything. But Denfeld football won a first playoff. I don't know if East is playing tonight. They might be.
That's great.
Against Cloquet. So that's good.
The girls' East started at 7:30, so
Okay.
I don't really have an update, but I did maybe take a peek at the Denfeld boys' score, and they
Okay.
were not successful against Blake School.
Oh, the Blake, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
but that's
But
okay.
yeah, it's good to be there.
It
We're
is.
supportive.
My son has a
Congratulations.
shaved head now because of
Okay.
it, so, but it's okay. So do we have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Member Lofeld, do we have a second? Member Williams. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? It has carried. We are adjourned.